With me here are two mud-spattered jockeys in Jason Weaver and Frankie Dettori. First of all, Jason Weaver Golf Pro. She's run a fantastic race.
Well, she hit the boxes first. We lead for about the first 8. Drop back in behind them. Nice lead. Pull her out to go and challenge in the straight. She just faded a little bit, you know. And I know it's a great race and we're in their backyard. But even still, after a great year, maybe we've, you know, maybe she is a little bit tired. She looked good and fantastic, but, you know, she didn't have the kick she normally does.
Well, looking at your faces, I think it tells a big story. Just how bad is it out there?
It ain't too bad.
He had the dream run. He was always playing handy. I was out the back getting all the dirt.
We both put 4 pairs of goggles on, and I just left my top pair on. He had to use it most of his day.
Frankie, what about Owington?
Because, well, in Europe, he's always been taught to drop out from the start and come with a late run. So hit the boxes a length behind everybody. But then after 2 furlongs, picked the bridle up, made a great move round the third. Came into the straight about third. I thought, great, I'm going to go and get him. And then he just got tired the last little bit. I think with a better draw, we would have finished place. So on the inside, it's a little bit of disadvantage because the kickback and the horses on the outside can intimidate the others. That was a good run, very good run.
Go say hello to Mick. Oh, we nearly did it with Try Melbourne, buddy.
Well done, boys. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Double Trigger, the leader in the early stages. Double Trigger from Old Rouvel and Admiral's Well beside him. Then comes the Little Thief, Moonax, Vintage Crop, and finally the Flying Phantom. A Double Trigger attempting a very difficult task of making all the running in the Gold Cup under Jason Weaver. This northern horse trying to give Mark Johnson his first ever Royal Ascot winner. He's come down 243 miles, this horse from Midland, to tackle these stayers, and he's leading them by 2 lengths from Old Rouvel and Admiral's Well, with the Little Thief for France in 4th, being tracked by Moonax. And then towards the outside of the sheepskin noseband, the senior, the old man Vintage Crop, with the grey, the Flying Phantom on his inner. Coming to the point now, which will be a furlong from home on the next circuit, the white-faced Double Trigger from Admiral's Well and Old Rouvel. Little gap then to the Little Thief, Moonax, Flying Phantom and Vintage Crop. Shortly they'll swing right-handed under the 1.5 gate to begin the run down towards Swinley Bottom. Running zestfully in the lead, Double Trigger from Admiral's Well and Old Rouvel. The little gap then to the Little Thief, and then Moonax, Vintage Crop and the Flying Phantom. Double Trigger ensuring a really serious staying event for this 1995 Ascot Gold Cup. Double Trigger from Admiral's Well and Old Rouvel. Then the Little Thief for France. Moonax and Vintage Crop now matching strides, and the grey Flying Phantom is the back marker of the 7. Got 1.25 miles to run. And still Double Trigger from Admiral's Well, Old Rouvel, Vintage Crop, Moonax, and the Little Thief has been pulled up. The Little Thief has been pulled up. He's gone lame, I'm afraid, behind, and Alain Jonc has pulled him up. He's unaccustomed to firmish ground, and they're passing the milepost now, and Double Trigger is the leader still. From Admiral's Well in 2nd, Old Rouvel 3rd, Vintage Crop 4, Moonax 5, and 6th the Flying Phantom. Racing to the 7 furlong pole in the Gold Cup, and Double Trigger maintaining this very sound gallop indeed from Admiral's Well. Then Old Rouvel, Vintage Crop getting a little bit closer, Pat still biding his time on Moonax, and then the Flying Phantom, 6 to run. Double Trigger the leader. Admiral's Well, Moonax moving up on the inside now, Vintage Crop on the outside, and they're really beginning to concertina, but still Double Trigger has it, and he's stretching again from Admiral's Well and Moonax and Vintage Crop as Old Rouvel loses his place inside the final half furlong, and still Jason Weaver, half mile I should say, and still Jason Weaver on Double Trigger from Moonax, threatening him now On the inside, on the outside is Admiral's Well. Losing ground is Vintage Crop. They're coming to the 2 furlong pole, and Double Trigger still holding them all. Moonax is under pressure. It's Double Trigger from Moonax and Admiral's Well. Vintage Crop is trying to challenge again, but Double Trigger with his bright face is going to avenge his previous defeats by Moonax. And Mark Johnson's going to win his first race at Royal Ascot, and Double Trigger is going to win the Gold Cup in tremendous style. He's made every yard of the running a rare performance at the line. Double Trigger the winner, Moonax second, Admiral's Well third in a photo. 4 come Vintage Crop, and 5 Old Rouvel, and 6th and last is the Flying Phantom, because the Little Thief was pulled up. But this is the hero of the hour, Double Trigger, number 3. Owned by Mr. R.W. Huggins, trained by Mark Johnston, and ridden by Jason Weaver.
Here's the Springer, the mare formerly trained in Ireland, and this season running in really good form, third to Dolphin Street, to Deauville, in the race in which Owington ran disappointingly.
She loves really soft ground, this Julian, and if you see her walking around the paddock on the tarmac just now, you'd know why. She's very shallow-footed, very flat-footed. She's got feet like soup plates, in fact, so the heavier it is for her, the better. They'll have appreciated this rain here. She'll be going into stall 8, and that's a pretty good draw, because I'll be running down the stands rail, and if you can get that stands rail, it's pretty fast. There's only 1 to go. Let's join Jim McGrath.
All in! Thanks, Jimmy. They're all in, and they're under orders, and they're away. On the right of picture, Unblessed away quickly with Blighton Lad, and Zy10 quickly into stride as well. Tabuk right in the centre. On the left, Lavinia Fontana was away fairly smartly as well. And Owington, the yellow cap in the centre of the field, has got a bit of cover there, and fighting for an early position. It's Tabuk, the leader, with the light blue cap from Lavinia Fontana. Blighton Lad behind them in the red and white, followed then by Piccolo just in behind them. Owington's the yellow cap right in the centre, which is about the only thing we can see as they travel now towards halfway in this Haydock Park Sprint Cup. And in the centre, Blighton Lad and Tabuk. On the near side, Lavinia Fontana. Behind them is Unblessed, followed by Piccolo sitting there. Then follows further back Stack Rock. Owington taking to the far side of the yellow cap now. They race up towards the 2 furlong marker. Lavinia Fontana on the inside takes it up now from Blighton Lad. Unblessed, Piccolo seeing daylight. Owington to the far side, hard ridden, but at the furlong it's Lavinia Fontana. Lavinia Fontana, the well-backed filly, has skipped away. She's reveling in the conditions. She's raced right away, Lavinia. Lavinia Fontana's going to win the Haydock Park Sprint Cup in by a street. Wins it by 6 lengths. Second was Piccolo, third Owington, followed then by Unblessed in 4th, further back Blighton Lad, then Zy10, Stack Rock, and towards the tail of the field is Tabuk. And the winner is number 3, Lavinia Fontana, owned by Cyril Humphreys, trained by John Dunlop, and ridden by Jason Weaver. A triumph for Jason, who's had a wonderful season, but all the time living in the shadow of Frankie Dettori. That is Jason Weaver's 157th winner of the season. Second is number 5, Piccolo, owned by John Mitchell and Partners, trained by Mick Channon, ridden by John Reed. And third, number 4, Owington, owned by Baron von Ullman, trained by Jeff Ragg, ridden by Paul Edery. And fourth, number 8, Unblessed, in the colours of Lord Vestey, trained by James Fanshawe and ridden by Cash Asmussen. Lavinia Fontana, though, who was heavily back today when this persistent rain set in around about 1 o'clock, the softer it's become, or the more cut we've had in the ground, the better it's become for her. And she has really revelled in the conditions and raced away to win this Group 1 contest, and has been returned the 11-2 winner. Let's see how she did it.
A brilliant performance by the Sharpo mare, always there on the stand side, made practically every yard of the running, loved the ground. Owington's come from last at halfway. Paul Edery's brought him round the field. For a moment he flattered and looked as though he might come and win, but the ground underfoot was too much. Piccolo's come from way off the pace and runs a really good race in the end to finish second. The big horse, the giant Blighton Lad in the centre there with the noseband, he can't find any more. Jason Weaver goes for his whip, and the challenge of Owington on the outside is shrugged off.
When this mare gets her ground, she's good. She's genuine Group 1 material, as you can see. Jason Weaver really doesn't have to pick his stick up. He just waved it there to keep her mind on a job. She's put a lot of daylight between. Owington, the ground's come wrong for him, but don't take anything away from Piccolo. He's run a super race, but it goes to the mare today, the 5-year-old mare, Lavinia Fontana, on the ground she really loves.
And there she is coming back, Lavinia Fontana, by Charpeau, and of course a horse who really did love to get his toe in, and many of his progeny exactly the same. And this is one of them, Lavinia Fontana. She won in heavy ground at the back end of last season at Longchamp and also in Italy, and it looks like if the conditions come her way in the Prix de l'Abbé and also other sprint races in Europe later on in the season, she is going to be very, very hard to beat.
And the starting prices for the fourth race, the Haydock Park.
And SPs as follows after the Haydock Park Sprint Cup.
11-2.
First number 3, Lavinia Fontana, 11-2. Second number 5, Piccolo, 9-1. Third number 4, Owington, 15-8.
And evening performances, in fact, one of the first to show, and Hever Golf Rose showing very good speed towards the near side. Million is up there, and then Mind Games over on the far side. Just in behind them come Late Parade, and his evening performance making it from Hever Golf Rose, Mind Games. And then comes Million, and then making progress is Easy Option just in behind the lead. And Cool Jazz showing very good foot nearest to us, but its evening performance over on the far side, disputing it with Hever Golf Rose. They've only got a furlong and a half to run now, and it's Hever Golf Rose is taking it up from evening performance. Easy Option putting in a very good run, but it's Hever Golf Rose from evening performance and Easy Option, and then Cool Jazz as they race into the closing stages. Hever Golf Rose, who's won in 4 countries this season, is going to win it, and Hever Golf Rose, as they come to the line, is the winner. It's going to be very close for second, with just getting up to his second, Cherokee Rose. But Hever Golf Rose won it all the way from Cherokee Rose, and a photo for third place between Easy Option and Evening Performance. But what a brilliant performance this by this Hever Golf Rose. She's won in Germany, Italy, and in Great Britain this season. She's won in France also before now, and she responded to Jason Weaver by winning this Prix de l'Abbé de Longchamp in tremendous style, winning the 18th successive victory for Britain in this Group 1 prestigious sprint, the richest sprint race run in France. Hever Golf Rose by Officio out of Sweet Rosina by Sweet Revenge, trained by Joe Norton at Epsom, and this one of the greatest triumphs of his career. And number 1 is the unbeaten French challenger Ashkelani, ridden by Michael Cannan. 2 is Beecham King, winner of 5 of his 8 races, ridden by John Reed. 3 is Bijou Dinde, the challenger from the north, ridden by Jason Weaver. 4, Cayman Key, ridden by Pat Edry. 5, Mark of Esteem, the English 2,000 guineas winner of 2 of his 3 races, ridden by Olivier Pellier. 6 is Sorbitar, winner of 3 of his 6 races and yet to race on top of the ground, ridden by Richard Hughes. 7 is Spinning World, who's twice been beaten on the 2 previous encounters by his compatriot Ashkelani, but who's surely going to be supported by many this afternoon. This Irish 2,000 guineas winner to turn the tables today, thought to be very unlucky in the French guineas, ridden by Cash Asmussen. 8 is Wall Street, representing Godolphin, and ridden by Brent Thompson. And 9 is World Premier, ridden by Brett Doyle. Here's how they bet.
And Ashkelani is the clear favourite as expected, open 15-8 into 7-4 now, out to 15-8 again. Spinning World 5-2 from 9-4. Mark of Esteem 9-2 from 4. That one's been drifting all through the anti-post market. 7 Bijou Dinde, 12-1 Beecham King, 16-1 Cayman Key, 20-1 Wall Street from 16, 33 Sorbitar from 25, and the outsider World Premier 66-1.
That's it. And that away. And over on the far side, Spinning World right up there with Wall Street and World Premier. Bijou Dand, Ashkelani towards the left of the picture as we see them, and it's World Premier and Bijou Dand and Wall Street ahead of Spinning World. Mark of Esteem on the outside. Travelling sweetly on the inner towards the left of the picture, showing with his white face is Ashkelani. But it's Bijou Dand, the leader, from World Premier. Ashkelani in third, then Spinning World, Wall Street over on the far side. Just in behind them, Beecham King. And the back marker at the moment is Cayman Kai. Racing now past the 5 and towards the half-mile pole, and Bijou Dand and Jason Weaver making it from World Premier on the outside. Wall Street next, then Ashkelani and his rival Spinning World. Right upsides him, Mark of Esteem towards the right of the picture with his white face in 6th at the moment. And it's Bijou Dand, the leader, as they make towards the home turn from World Premier in 2nd. Wall Street on the outside, Ashkelani travelling sweetly on the rail. Then he's being followed by Spinning World. They're into the straight now in the St. James's Palace Stakes, and it's Bijou Dand being challenged now by Michael Canan and Ashkelani as they race down towards the furlong pole. Ashkelani from Bijou Dand, and here comes Sorbitar on the stand side. It's Ashkelani from Sorbitar now as they race into the final 150 yards. Ashkelani from Sorbitar and Bijou Dand over on the far side. Ashkelani from Bijou Dand as they race towards the line. Bijou Dand fighting back. It's a photo. Bijou Dand may have got up on the line to beat Ashkelani with Sorbitar third and Beecham King 4. It's a desperately close photo, but it looks as though Bijou Dand has just got up in the dying strides of this St. James's Palace Stakes to beat Ashkelani, but it's very close indeed, this photo. The faster finisher of the two was without doubt Jason Weaver's partner Bijou Dand. Ashkelani had the advantage with 100 yards to run, but with every stride Bijou Dand was wearing him down. Did he get there on the line? Bijou Dand number 3, Ashkelani number 1.
Bijou Dand the winner here at 9-1. Second, number 1, the favourite, 13-8, Ashkelani. Third, number 6, Sorbitar at 33-1.
Distant View and Grand Lodge. The starter Simon Round on his rostrum has them away, and away to a very level break indeed in this, the second classic. And King's Theatre, the favourite, flies out of the stalls on the extreme outside over on the left as you see them. Mr. Bailey's is running fast. In company now with the complete outside is Star Selection, who now goes on. Star Selection leads Mr. Bailey's over on the far side. They're in two definite groups over on the near side. King's Theatre is the overall leader of that group. Right up with the pace to River Deep, not far off it is Kanaska Dance. Indar in that big group with Redoubtable. After them for Dubai State Performer. The present back marker is Torche Rouge. Coming now down towards the end of the third furlong and still making it on the wide outside. Star Selection from Mr. Bailey's there. Cool Jazz as well. Grand Lodge follows these. But the far side, not in your picture at the moment, but King's Theatre in front, just coming into the picture now. King's Theatre, there he is in Sheikh Mohammed's maroon and white. They're coming down towards the final half mile in the Madagans 2000 Guineas. It's over to you, Graham.
We've got just over 3 furlongs to go. We've got two 2000 going on here. Star Selection, Mr. Bailey at the far side. King's Theatre overall command the stand rail. They come down towards the bushes, just over 2 furlongs to go. King's Theatre, River Deep running fast. Here comes Torche Rouge with a 1, Distant View with a run. Off the pace, State Performer with a run, Simplici with a run. Down the centre of the track is Mr. Bailey's and Star Selection, and they come down past the furlong pole. And it's Mr. Bailey's going on from Grand Lodge, the far side. On the far side have it Mr. Bailey's and Grand Lodge. Colonel Collins eats ground fast and late, but it's Mr. Bailey's and Grand Lodge dueling as they race up towards the line. Mr. Bailey's and Grand Lodge and Mr. Bailey's. Mr. Bailey's, Grand Lodge from Colonel Collins and State Performer in 4, and the field trail back to Crazy Paving, who was last of all. And so the result then of this, the Madagans 2000 Guineas, it's a win for number 13, Mr. Bailey's, in the colours of GR Bailey's Limited. Bailey's horse feed, this one trained at Middleham by Mark Johnson, and this has put Mark on the map together with his rider. The judge calls a photo for first place, but Mr. Bailey's has won. This one ridden by young Jason Weaver, his first classic ride, his first classic win. He's beaten Grand Lodge for Frankie Dettori in those apricot colours, and it's a very close call for third place. 16-1 Mr. Bailey's has won it, and I think we'll find that Colonel Collins is in third and State Performer in 4. So the result then of this Madagans 2000 Guineas, it's Mr. Bailey's. The action has been on the left of the picture. King's Theatre leading those on the stand side, dropped right away. But the draw has played an amazing result here, because 21, 22 and 23 were the stall positions. But there goes Mr. Bailey's Jason Weaver, a most magnificent looking horse. He's won it from Grand Lodge, and the field trail back to the third horse, which was Colonel Collins, in the colours of Robert Sangster, ridden by John Reed. And best of those on the stand side was State Performer, and he was fourth, that one ridden by Ray Cochran. Back in fifth place, I think we'll find, is a Star Selection, and River Deep's there as well. But all the action is on the left. Nearly every Guineas I've seen, the action has been on the stand side. On this occasion, it's the high numbers that have it.
Well, as a camera position changed after they'd gone about 3 furlongs, I should think the horses on the far side were some 5 or 6 lengths ahead of those on this side. They made up some of that gap at halfway, but as they've met the rising ground, while Mr. Bailey's, he's set for home and it was all over.
Yeah, there's a lovely touch at the end of this race. These two jockeys, Frankie Dettori on the far side, pipped in a classic for the second time in a week. Jason Weaver, his chum and former mate at Luca Kumani's, as they pass the post. Frankie's just touched off as Mr. Bailey's holds on in the nice driving finish, and you'll see Frankie Dettori pat him on the back and say, well done, sir.
And Mr. Bailey's is returned at 16 to 1. It barely moved on the course, and it was a 20 to 1 chance in the offices this morning. And it's beaten the winter favourite for the 2000 Guineas Grand Lodge, also returned at 16 to 1. The third is Colonel Collins. That was a 13 to 2 chance. And several bookmakers on the course and independents off track pay each way on the fourth. That State Performer returned at 10 to 1, State Performer. They sent King's Theatre off, the 9 to 2 favourite, and that Mr. Bailey's is the 7th time since the war that a horse first time out of the 3-year-old has won the 2000 Guineas. Nashwan in 89 did it, Brigadier Gerard in 71, Royal Palace in 67, and before that Crapello, Kai Ming and Happy Night. 7th time since the war, first time out, Mr. Bailey's. He needed his fitness up the hill, he had it, he wins at 16 to 1. And those anti-post vouchers on Grand Lodge so nearly landed, that many of them each way, they'll more than get their money back on the Dewhurst Stakes winner.